Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
I'm going to drop some major league content on you in the next 15 minutes. I just want you to know what I'm about to share with you. I've shared a little bit of it over time, but this is going to be pretty powerful. My words and my phrases for 2026 is embrace the fix to master the mix in 2026. Embrace the fix to master the mix in 2026. So what does that really mean? The first thing we need to do is embrace the fix in 2026. So what is the fix? Like everything can be fixed, not everything. And I will actually talk to you in the very end about what cannot be fixed or what you don't want to try to fix, right? So this is the fix, right? So this is a cover of a proposed book by Michael J. Maher. That's me. And we're going to talk about how to go from chaos to clarity, right? This book is not available anywhere. It's not done. But bottom line, why should we fix things? Why should we fix things? Why fix them? Like there are probably things in your house that you haven't fixed. Why? Right? And it's because they didn't feel like they're important or they're not important now, though they might be important later. But when we feel like something can't be fixed, we give up. All right? We give up. But we can't fix everything at once. We can't just, wouldn't it be great? Magic wand or a genie says, what's your wish? I wish everything in my life would be fixed, right? And you don't want everything in your life to be fixed. Isn't that interesting? So we want to go from chaos to clarity. And essentially this means go from disorganized to organized. This is not theory. This is just common sense that hopefully you will make common practice to cope with a world with a literal infinite, wondrous number of opportunities. And I want you to fight the tide of those who succumb to just menu-driven thinking, right? You literally drop down box, you pick the answer. It's like, okay, what about the other box? The people who really thrive. We're talking millionaires, billionaires, super successful people. They know what to do when faced with problems, big and or small. So the fix, what is the solution? The solution is the fix. An operating system to overcome overwhelm. How to easily handle the problem of abundance, even if you don't have the mindset of abundance. You don't realize there's an infinite amount of opportunity, or you don't think there's an infinite amount of opportunity. Maybe you think there's limited amount of opportunity, but there's not. There's not. We have just found that there is an unlimited amount of abundance and opportunity in the world. And during this, you're going to develop a figure it out mindset. Solve any problem that puzzles you using the 7 F's in order, the 7 steps to the fix. Ask simple questions in clarifying any problem. Master your own destiny by becoming a smart decision maker. And here's the thing, less grind, more genius. Let's not just grind our way through things like an idiot. Let's work smarter instead of working harder. So what does that look like? Number one, the fix. Step number one is figure out what you want to fix. And I have to tell you, like, if I could give you the gift of anything in your life, I would give you the gift of specificity. Specificity. What specifically do you want? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? What do you want if we really peel the onion down 6 layers deep? Is it love? Is it belonging? Is it, a family with a wondrous amount of opportunity? What is it? And I'm not going to go through all of the details of the fix, but I'm going to share with you like how this process essentially works. And it's like, well, how do I figure out what I want to fix? Well, we ask ourselves some clarifying questions. And for those of you that are familiar with my pro launch, I literally ask myself 5 clarifying questions every morning on a laminated piece of paper, essentially, where I can write on it. But it's, what's my biggest challenge right now? What's my biggest opportunity right now? What puzzles me the most right now? What frustrates me the most right now? But Gary Keller gave us one of the best ever. What is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier and or unnecessary? Where do I have momentum right now? What system or marketing piece do I need most right now? And usually the best thing to do is build a system. What's your organizational system, right? And then some examples of figuring out what you want to fix. It could be your buyer guide. Like, do you have a buyer guide? Do you have a buyer questionnaire? Or on the same side, seller guide or a seller questionnaire, right? Do you have those? Contract to close checklist. And that is literally where I start with a lot of our clients, is what is the client experience from the moment they go under contract to the moment they close? The client experience, not just the contract to close checklist. What can we do to make them literally thrilled? Wow clients. Well, another example is your sphere communication plan. That's the one that we're going to kick butt on today, right? So the puzzle analogy is like, figure out what you want to fix. Well, we're going to pick a puzzle off the shelf. Think about you're at Toys R Us, or you are at Amazon looking at puzzles to try to do a puzzle, and you're going to pick a puzzle, and you do that by looking at the picture on the box. That makes sense, right? You want the final puzzles. So this is your vision of your business. So you look on the shelf and you see all these people's different types of businesses. I know Glover has shared his business plan. I know James Shaw is sharing his business plan. I know that Tom Ferry has shared parts of business plans of other agents. I know you've seen the different business plan. All these people have shared with you the business plan. They've shared these visions. So you look at the picture on the box and you're like, I want my life and my business to look like that. So we're going to pick a puzzle and look at the picture on the box and say, I want it to look like that, right? So what do we do in step 2? Now that we've picked something, we've figured out what we want to fix, right? What do we do next? Well, what do we do with a puzzle, right? Is we funnel. So the first is figure out what you want to fix. The second one, by the way, they all start with the letter F to make it easy, and honestly, they work. So funnel. Now, let's say we want to do a buyer guide. We're going to take all the best ideas in the world in one way or another, right? Asking ChatGPT, Googling for PDFs of buyer guides. We are going to look at the best of the best buyer guides out there in the world, and we're just going to funnel them all to one place, right? If you're doing a contract to close checklist, and by the way, this is the perfect time to change or tweak your contract to close checklist. You're going to take all the best ideas of what everyone has ever done on contract to close. Let me give you an example. Is your transaction coordinator writing a handwritten note as soon as they get the contract? If not, add a power note to their plan. Are they writing a power note when the client closes? From them, not from your team, but literally from the transaction coordinator saying, thank you so much. It was a pleasure working with you. I'm the transaction coordinator and I handle contract to close. Our time has come to an end, but maybe someday we'll have the opportunity to work with you or your friends or your family, right? Something that triggers referrals. All right. Then we're not done yet. Who could get the birthdays? Your transaction coordinator could easily get the birthdays of the people that are buying the home, and they will get that birthday, right? What's another thing that they could do? And by the way, what do you do with the birthdays? What if they were put in your schedule every day? Like literally, transaction coordinator does an appointment in your calendar that says Dave Thomas's birthday, recurring every year for 10 years, and it has a 24-hour reminder on it that says call Dave the day before their birthday. Could your transaction coordinator do that? Yes, they could, right? All right, so we're not done though, right? Birthdays is your transaction coordinator putting a reminder in your CRM or on your calendar on the home anniversary date? I mean, they literally have the home anniversary date, the day it closes. Like they know it better than you do. In some cases, when I had 75 closings in 1 month, I had no clue, like all the different dates for the people. I just knew they closed in that month. But it's one of those where it's like, okay, so they could, and then what do you do? What do you do at the home? You could do a 24-hour before call, right? You remember what you were doing 3 years ago today? You were closing on your home. I remember doing that with you. I just wanted to check in with you. How you doing? Or you could send a card for home anniversary, right? So I'm just saying, a lot of my coaching clients have implemented little things like that. But the thing is you didn't even know or think about those things. And the only way to do it is to funnel the ideas of everybody around. This is the whole mastermind concept from Napoleon Hill, which is that none of us is as smart as all of us. So then, all right, as you are working on this buyer guide or this sphere of influence plan, pick one funnel owner. So who is going to be in charge of the buyer guide? Now, many times this can be you. Over my lifetime, this has mostly been me. But as you grow, it will be imperative and obvious that eventually you're going to need to delegate to accelerate your business and your life. And the who is not you, right? Pick somebody to own this project, right? Now, the puzzle analogy is, okay, we got the puzzle. Now we're going to pour all the puzzle pieces on the table and flip them right side up, right? So it looks like this jumbled mess right here. Still a mess, right? But we're working towards a fix, right? So now we funneled it. We've got the pieces in place, and think of these pieces as systems, right? Think of these pieces as tasks or duties or opportunities, right? Now, what's the next step, right? We funneled, right? We got a funnel over here. We got a filter. We can't do it all. There are going to be things that people do in their contract close that does not apply to your state. If you're in a title state, then it's going to be different than if it's a closing attorney state. If there are certain, there's just certain laws and regulations you've got to do. Like, I mean, is there really lead-based paint, right? I mean, anyway. So the bottom line is we are not now going to filter what we funneled. Well, how do we do that? We ask qualifying questions, not clarifying, qualifying questions. Do I like it or not? And in this example is you have all these buyer guides or contract to closing stuff, and you pick the best pages out of the buyer guide you like, or you pick the best ideas of the contract to close that you like, right? So we are filtering and chunking down, like, do we like it or not? Do I trust it or not? Are they, like, another way to look at this is with leads or with potential clients, is you filter them by, are they your ideal client? Now, another way to filter it, if you're talking about your sphere of influence, is have they referred me or will they refer me, right? And in your database, you're going to have people who haven't referred you or won't refer you. And then you have this VIP group of people who will refer you, right? So the puzzle analogy is we've got a segment to solve. We put all and did you know, I mean, could you imagine trying to solve 1,000-piece or 42,000-piece puzzle and just going about it in a random way, or thinking there must be 42,000 ways to put this puzzle together, but there must be a most efficient way? Yes, you know what? When it comes to puzzling, there is actual puzzle contest and there are puzzle players, and the puzzle players follow the same strategy. Did you know that? So we are going to put all the corner and the side pieces together, all the same color pieces together. So notice the colors, right? This is how you solve a big puzzle. And just so you know, this is how you solve the puzzles of your business. Corner pieces, and then you've got the color pieces all together. That still looks like a mess, but is it working towards a solution. 100%. Now, we have worked up to the fourth step. And the fourth step is almost like you can look at it as like a bell curve, right? We don't spend very much time on figuring out what we want to fix. We don't have to spend that much time on the funneling. We don't have to spend that much time on the filtering, right? We are going to spend most of our time in the next step, which is the focus, right? Which just makes sense. We are going to focus on the things or the people or the pieces that make it through the filter. We're going to focus on a certain segment, right? If the buyer's guide, we're going to put the guide together. If leads, we're going to focus on converting them and filling out a buyer or seller questionnaire. Notice that a filter could be, are they pre-approved? If they're pre-approved, they make it through the filter. If they are not pre-approved, they don't make it through the filter. Now, if it's a sphere, we're going to focus on our ambassadors and VIPs. We're going to focus on the most important people in our database. Let's say we have 42,000 people in our database. Can we really focus on 42,000 people in 2026? The answer is not really. Who really deserves most of our resources? It's the people that are referring us. That was a common theme in the opening. What's puzzling you is that we don't have the time, energy, effort, or money to spend it on everybody. Who do we want to spend it on? We want to spend all of those things on our top people only, right? So another way to look at this is the puzzle analogy is put the puzzle together corner by corner and then color by color. It's now starting to take shape. We have a frame. We can see what our business is starting to look like. We can see what the system is starting to look like. We have a buyer's guide. It may not be perfect. In fact, I will tell you right now, it is not perfect, but it is progressing. So within focus, we need to remember that we are going to accomplish something. The biggest problem with people is a lack of focus in today's world. So we are going to focus, which means finish one challenge until success. We are going to solve this problem for now. We're going to put together this puzzle and not worry about the other puzzles that we have in our life, right? So how do we do that? Within focus, there is the fire session, all right? This is what we've been working up to is, all right, so we figured out what we want to fix. We've funneled all the best ideas. We've filtered out the ones that make it, right? And the sphere of influence example is figure out what you want to fix. Well, I want to have a communication plan that gets the most amount of referrals in the least amount of time without spending a dime, right? And then it's like, well, okay, so now we need to filter that. And it's like, well, I need to focus on the people who are referring me. That makes sense. Now we're in focus and we're going to do a fire session. A fire session, and well, FIRE is an acronym, another acronym. It's focus, immerse, recuperate, evaluate. So we're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes kind of gathering and putting the stuff on the table, right? And then we are going to immerse ourselves for 30, 60, 90 minutes, or like I did yesterday, 9 hours. 9 hours, right? We are going to immerse ourselves in one thing. Then we are going to recuperate, which means like a 5 to 10 minute walk. We have to, we can't just sit there for 9 hours, right? We need to gather our stuff. We need to give ourselves 90 minutes. We need to give ourselves 5 to 10 minutes. And then at the end of our fire session, we need to evaluate. And the evaluate is the maintenance piece, right? So focus on one thing, one project, maybe even one person at a time. We're going to immerse ourselves, blocking the time, use a timer if necessary. I hope you're at least taking a snapshot here or getting the idea. I bunker out a place with no distractions, right? I'm a fan of a 90-minute session. This is like, for those of you that are efficiency experts or buffs on organization, there's something called the Pomodoro technique. What I'm teaching you is essentially the Pomodoro technique on steroids, right? Right. So 60 minutes or 90 minutes, whatever it may be. And then we're going to recuperate, get up and get away. 5 to 15 minutes, not to check your phone, not to do other work, right? No, we're going to let our brain relax about what we just covered. And I'm going to show you a graphic here in a second that really brings that home. Evaluate. Okay, we come back to the bunker. So you can imagine yourself doing this like with a buyer's guide, right? So buyer's guide, you picked out all the pages you like, but you don't have a buyer's guide yet. So you work on the buyer's guide for 90 minutes. You're going to have not just a buyer's guide. You're going to have like a world-class buyer's guide in 90 minutes. World class. You went from zero to world class in 90 minutes. Now, get up, walk away. Now, like what is not in that buyer guide that we totally should put in it? Like what is up to date? Is there an AI thing that we need to put it? Is there an AI warning that we need to tell them? Like about Zillow and AI, like being together. Like just because it's Zillow and just because it's AI doesn't mean it's accurate, right? You take one inaccurate thing and you multiply it by another inaccurate thing, you actually have something that's really, really inaccurate. So maybe you have to warn them about that in your buyer guide, right? That idea comes to you while you're walking. What do? You go back to your bunker for 5 to 10 minutes and you add the ideas you came up with. You add some notes for next time. You add pieces, right? Please notice that at this point, yes, I'm talking 2 hours. 2 hours later, right? This is 2 hours later. It's done, but it's not complete. It's okay. It's done for now. The goal is progress, not perfection. Do you need to schedule another fire session? And almost every single time I've ever done this, the answer is yes. But what's really cool is, does the next fire session need to be 2 hours? Like with a buyer guide, the answer is no. The next session can be like 60 minutes at the most because all the hard work has been done. The energy is typically expended in the beginning, right? But man, we really have progress on this. So, and by the way, here's your brain after setting quietly and you're working on, this for 60 to 90 minutes, you actually get into something called the flow. And for you ninja people, you're always like, well, how do I get in the flow, right? This is the solution, right? So this is your brain after a 20-minute walk, right? So, and this is your brain actually faster after a 60 to 90 minute fire session, right? It's on fire. I mean, it literally, all right. So here's what I want you to embrace the thought of the fix and the fire session, right? I want you to schedule a fire session, not for today, but I want your main action from this is to schedule a fire session, right? A fire session on one project, one system, one procedure, one guidebook, your listing presentation, your buyer presentation, your lender presentation, whatever it may be, your initial consultation, a brochure, a flyer, an invitation, please notice that you could literally schedule a fire session for anything. My wife designed the most beautiful journals I've ever seen, like ever. She schedules fire sessions to just get into the flow of creating these beautiful works of art. And what starts out looking like a Cheerios box ends up looking like something that should be in a museum. And I'm not even joking. Fire sessions are the key, and we have gotten away from this type of work. We are now working for 5 seconds or 25 seconds or 25 minutes or whatever it may be. We are working in small spurts, but we literally never feel like we're getting anything done. So I just want you to know, to carry out the puzzle analogy, I'm about to show you a video. And I don't want you to just watch to see the art. I want you to imagine that you have been commissioned to put together a 42,000 piece puzzle, 42,000 pieces. How would you go about solving that? How would you go about doing that? I don't want you to just watch this video as a spectator. I want you to watch the process. Watch how he organizes the project, not necessarily the final result of the project. Putting together a puzzle is the perfect analogy for putting projects that matter to us together. Otherwise, we live in a world of shoulds, regrets, and might have beens. It's easier when we have a process like the fix. Now that's step 4. We put it together. What is step 5? Now we need to follow through. Do what you said you were going to do. So if it's a buyer guide, you start using it. Just do it. Execute as stated. If it's contract to close, you're going to use it. Just use it. If it is your sphere plan, then you're just going to do it. Just do it. Just do it. And just do it. Be consistent with using and doing and saying it, whatever it is. It's not going to be perfect. And that's perfect. It is definitely better than what you had before. So step 5 is follow through. Step 6 is follow up. Now we are going to go above and beyond. By the way, that's the difference between follow through and follow up. Follow through is doing what you said you were going to do, just being consistent. Follow up is going above and beyond. After you've been consistent with it, you've earned the right to be creative. Now that can be 1 week. You can tweak it in 1 week. Now it's time to add the wow factor. Add the surprise and delight. Go the next level. Improve it, better it, tweak it, have fun with it, master it, whatever it is. Then the final step, step 7, is forever. Set a system of maintenance and revisits, etc. So here's your essential process. You're going to run the fix, run the play, then put on your schedule to review it for 1 hour in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. So you got your buyer guide together, you did it in 2 hours. Now, in a couple of weeks, you're going to review it for 1 hour. Well, okay. Notice maybe you don't even need a full hour, but you take the full hour and you make it better, you make it better. Then we're going to put it down 2 to 4 months later, like a quarter. Notice that pretty much matches up with a quarter. In a quarter, we're going to do a quarterly review, but it's only going to take 30 minutes now. Why? Because that buyer guide looks pretty dang good. It's pretty awesome. Then we will put it on the schedule to review the buyer guide annually for 15 minutes. Things change. The buyer, like we haven't had to warn buyers about AI before the last couple of years. Well, now we need to put it in our buyer guide. So we add a page, and guess what? It's done for the year. It's done. You're going to use it. It looks great. It is fixed forever. Sleep well, my friend. So the 7 steps to the fix are figure out what you want to fix, funnel whatever the best ideas, the best strategies, a collection. If it's leads, you're going to funnel them to one place, and then you're going to filter out. You got to filter out the bad leads with the good leads. By the way, we've implemented the fix with our Facebook group. If you won't give us a mobile phone and an email, you don't get into GenGen. Why? We are a trust-based organization. We do not abuse your mobile phone. We do not abuse your email. Guess what? But if I want to refer you, I better have your email and I better have your mobile phone. So filter, right? Filter means, take out the bad and keep the good, or take out the ones that don't fit it and work. And then focus on the vital few. Focus on the most important. Focus on the ones that are moving towards you. Focus on the best ones out of the group, right? Focus on the ones that apply to you and your market. Then we're going to schedule a fire session to put it together, to do it, to implement it, to outline it, to think about it, to plan it, whatever it may be. Then we're going to follow through. We're going to do it. We're going to execute it. We're going to do what we said we were going to do. And then we're going to follow up, and we're going to go above and beyond. And we're going to spice it up. We're going to put some graphics on it. We're going to make it look better. And then we're going to have a forever plan. Notice I created forever clients back in 2001. And why did I call them forever clients? Because I wanted a plan to where once they came into my life, they were going to be in my life forever if I wanted them to be. Forever clients. So this is a forever system. This is a forever maintenance plan for whatever the project it is.